believes that we should ever put money again before we take the thing out of the hands of government.
Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We are your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. We cover the Bitcoin news, the culture, the memes, all of it. Sometimes the fails by the central bankers, by the shitcoiners, all of it. Today we have a very special show lined up. Another legacy media propaganda attack on El Salvador. We're going to talk about it. If nobody else debunks it, if we don't do it, who else will, right? Anyways, today we have a very special show. I just want to give a shout out to our guest. How you doing, Eric?
Hey, great. How about yourself?
Very, very good. Thanks for joining us. And of course, my legendary co-host. How you doing, Opti?
What's up, Nico? How you doing, Eric? Let me fix this camera a little bit. I think I'm a little out of the square, but I'm doing good this morning, Nico. We had a great conversation before the show. I'm hyped up. I feel great. And of course, guys, on the culture, we are going to be dunking on some shitcoiners today. But of course, I am going to give you guys the culture of why we Bitcoin and why Bitcoin is so important. And furthermore, why Bitcoin is boring and this is a feature, not a bug. So we're going to get into this, guys.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Eric, you are working on, why don't you tell everybody what you're working on?
Well, I mean, I'm working on a lot of different things. Right now, we have Bitcoin ATMs obviously all over the place, and one of them is in the Mexican Senate. And so September 1st, they're going to begin voting on the blockchain. And not officially, obviously, it doesn't count for anything, but we're going to get some of the Mexican senators who had showed interest when they deployed it a few months ago. So we're just finishing that up now and deploying that.
Absolutely bullish. And the name of your company is Chain Bytes. That's the Bitcoin ATM company. We're going to explore a little bit more about that during the news. But anyways, let's start the show.
Okay.
Number time. Brought to you by NODL. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core, the Lightning Network, Whirlpool, and Dojo, all from the comfort of your own home. Remember, guys, if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. And if you're a digital nomad, you have no excuse because now you could run a NODL through a virtual private server. Visit nodl.eu today. All right. So at the time of this recording, the Bitcoin price is at 21,520. Sats 4,647. Block height 751,078. Reachable Bitcoin nodes 13,061. Blocks to the halvening 88,922. Halving estimate April 22nd, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity 4,565. Capacity value, it's at $98.3 million. Hash rate, it's at 207 exahashes. Realized monetary inflation 1.78%. Market capitalization $412 billion with a B. Anyways, I have some very interesting videos for us to react to. This is the White House press secretary. Let's see what she has to say. We're going to compare and contrast between politics, right? One option for our future, another option for our future. This is political money. This is what you have to deal with. Anyways, this is Jean-Pierre. Let's play the video. Let's check it out.
That's why the Economic Policy Institute has said that that claim that canceling debt is inflationary is profoundly off base. And the Roosevelt Institute has gone even further to say that a deal that canceled student debt and restarted payments would reduce inflation. Taken together, the actions the president announced today are not only economically responsible, they will provide real benefits to families.
So, interesting. Printing more money to cancel student debt is going to reduce inflation. I don't know. Anyways, now let's check out this new senator. His name, or this person running for office, better said. His name is Bruce Fenton. Now, it's interesting because they deplatformed him already. Someone running for office, they deplatformed, which is interesting. But maybe this has to do with the reason that they're deplatforming him. Anyways, let's check out what he has to say in this Newsmax debate.
Your website allows contributions in cryptocurrency. Do you favor increased use of crypto in monetary transactions? And what do you say to those who oppose cryptocurrencies because they can be used for illegal transactions?
Yeah, I'm all for any form of money that anybody wants to use. And ideally, I'd like to get government out of the money business, just like we used to have church and state were once together. We wouldn't be able to have this meeting without officials from the church hundreds of years ago. And we should get government out of the money business. We can separate money just like we separated church and state. We can separate money and state. Because government doesn't need to be in the money business. We don't need politicians to tell us what money is. Throughout human history, for thousands of years, people have figured it out, whether it's gold or silver or Bitcoin. And the fact is that our money right now is broken. Politicians broke it. They have unlimited money that they can print from thin air without accountability. And that is now competing against an asset like Bitcoin, which is limited in supply, limited to 21 million coins, cannot be printed from thin air. So the money is broken, and politicians broke it, and everybody should have the freedom to choose better money if they choose to. I chose Bitcoin. I recommend other people choose something else as well, because the dollar is a melting ice cube.
All right, Senator Morse.
So interesting, because they said cryptocurrencies, but he said Bitcoin. So again, they're still combining the two. And another interesting part, and this is a hell of a coincidence. This is the guy they deplatformed. The guy that's saying that politicians broke the money. Is that a coincidence? I'll let you guys decide. But anyways, Eric, what are your thoughts on this? Is this the beginning of Bitcoin becoming a political movement in the United States?
I don't know about a political movement. I mean, I think what Bruce is doing is working from the inside, but Bitcoin doesn't care about any of that. At the end of the day, the system works. So as people realize this is better money, and as you let the politicians continue to break what they're currently using, and they're going to lose money left and right, there'll be some sort of event, they'll blame it on this or that, but at the end of the day, there'll be something that saves the day, which is Bitcoin. People can put their money into this asset that nobody can steal from them.
So I agree with you. I think that, the honey badger doesn't care, but, and pull up so you guys could see this. Your company, at the end of the day, it does rely on physical locations, which are prone to politics. So,
absolutely. I mean, and we're dealing with regulations in a lot of different countries, including the United States. So we have a compliance company here in the United States. We work with it in Mexico. We work in Canada, all over the place. Everyone has a different regime of how they approach this stuff. I guess I don't get too caught up in the politics of it. I mean, they're not going to make Bitcoin illegal. They're going to make it a lot more difficult to get. It's something they have. They've already done all of that. All right. It's not going to change the course of anything.
He's super based, and he runs a Bitcoin ATM company. If he doesn't care,
I care, but I don't get wrapped up in. I mean, what are you concerned about? I mean, Bruce is bringing up good issues that they're trying to bring up. Privacy is certainly a thing. More concerning, maybe even than Bitcoin, is the privacy of software developers. As software developers, we should be able to create code and put it out there. That is more concerning to me than even the other stuff.
Absolutely, Opti. What's your take on this?
Well, look, I consider myself apolitical, so I've never really followed politics until Nico kind of told me, look, you got to at least follow it somewhat. And I was like, okay, all right, I'll follow along. But I fundamentally believe, Republican, Democrat, two wings of the same bird, opt out, buy Bitcoin, live your life, provide the value. You don't have to deal with this stuff. And I mean, look, I really love what Bruce Fenton's saying, because like I say it all the time, you can't stop the signal. What he said, the freedom to choose money, it reminds me of what Tom Emer said yesterday on the show about financial freedom is American freedom. But I mean, look, I am like the voice of the plebs here, and I can't get Bruce Fenton's shitcoinery of Ravencoin out of my head. So I'm sorry that I have to bring it up, but I definitely commend what he's saying, and at least he went up there and said Bitcoin only. So yes, I thank you, Lucky. Apparently my audio is lower. I brought it up, but yeah. Shouts out. I fundamentally say it all the time. I said it yesterday that I feel like the signal of Bitcoin is getting out there, and the more politicians are saying the correct signal, the better it is for everyone, because people need to hear that there is this solution and it's called Bitcoin. A lot of people know what the problem is, but they just don't understand that there's a solution out there. So the more people tell the world that Bitcoin is the solution, the better. I'm not gonna. I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there, Nico.
Well, I think that's why we did that in Mexico. Exactly. Like we were having the argument about Bitcoin being legal tender and money and all the things and ramifications, really about the existing regulatory environment. I said, well, why don't we change the message and talk about it as a statement of truth? There's a blockchain underneath this that we can put information on. Why don't we do that instead and say, hey, let's vote on the blockchain? But very simply, we used opcodes inside of Bitcoin and put them out there. It's a very simple format that people have done in the past. And let's just do that and let them play around. Who's going to argue against transparency? So change the argument. Sometimes talking about it as money scares people, and they certainly have a lot of FUD to throw out there about existing money laundering, this, that. But transparent, and argue against transparency.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the Bitcoin shines the light of truth on things, and unfortunately, governments have to put up or shut up, right? It really exposes their incentives. They'd like to frame that fiat money is for everybody. What in reality, what Bitcoin really does is it's like, no, fiat money is for you guys. We want to use our own money, and then in the process of them trying to defend their moat, they expose their cards. Anyways, before we move on to the news, I want to talk a little bit about Eric's company. What is Chainbits, Eric?
We're primarily a software development company. We do Bitcoin ATMs. We've done some other things in the space in software development, but we're infrastructure. We're working in Mexico, El Salvador, different places, trying to be an off-ramp, on and off-ramp for people who want to get in and out of Bitcoin.
Yeah, so talk to me about the process. If you were to go to one of these machines, like how does it work?
Sure, depends on what country you're in. So here in the United States, typically, if you went up to the machine under $500, you can just go up and say, I want to buy Bitcoin. You scan your wallet, you put some cash in, you get your Bitcoin, you're done. That's it. Anything over 500 to 1,000, you would do SMS verification, which sort of ties you to that. AML KYC is money laundering, and then over $1,000, you'd be collecting government ID and other different thresholds that they want to hire. But in essence, it's pretty straightforward. They go, if they already have a wallet, they can use that. If they want to print a wallet, they can print one at the machine, which gives them a private and public key, which I know they shouldn't trust us. They shouldn't trust anybody, but we tell them just take it off right away, and then you don't have to trust them.
Awesome. Very cool. How many countries are you guys in?
I don't know. A lot of different ones. They pop up all the time. Half a dozen, maybe. Mostly we're operating here in the United States, but certainly Latin America, Canada, this part of the world. We've been in Belarus and Turkey and Canada.
Very, very cool. Anyways, guys, now you know this is the guy running the Chainbits ATMs. If you see them out, now you know the guy behind the ATM. Anyways, let's move on to the news. Let's talk about the media attacking El Salvador. Let's do it. Daily news. Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch, from node cases to key rings to the vents on the back of your ASIC for air management, and of course the famous 3D printed Bitcoin grenade toy, which comes in any custom color your heart desires. You want it in gold? They make it in gold. And you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 5% off CryptoCloaks.com. All right. So Opti actually pointed out this article to me. I found it fascinating. I found it really interesting. Name of the headline of the article is El Salvador plans 40,000 inmate mega prison in war against gangs. Now, I want you guys to pay attention to the framing, and I also want you guys to pay attention to the narrative that they're trying to set, which is basically Nayib Bukele is a dictator, he's unpopular, etc., etc. He's this totalitarian, he isn't doing any good to his country, he's breaking civil rights, etc., etc. And then we're going to compare it and contrast with the United States. Let's see if the United States is any better. Anyways, so let's check it out. El Salvador plans 40,000 inmate mega prison in war against gangs. El Salvador is constructing one of the world's largest prisons, which will hold 40,000 inmates, many snatched off the streets by police using emergency powers. In the most vivid symbol of the Central American nation's slide into authoritarianism, President Nayib Bukele has ordered construction crews to complete his so-called terrorism confinement center in 60 days. Human rights groups have sounded the alarm about arbitrary arrests, deaths in detention, families unable to contain detainees, but Bukele's crackdown under the hashtag war against gangs is proving popular with Salvadorians tired of years of bloodletting. The Salvadorian president has sold himself internationally as a hip and innovative president who has courted cryptocurrency investment, no, Bitcoin investment, and made Bitcoin legal tender. But his domestic image has been built as a tough on crime president, and constructing a mega prison further strengthens those credentials. The country detests the gang, said Oscar Martinez, editorial director of the independent El Faro news organization. The country is willing to significantly sacrifice civil rights so long as someone promises to solve the problems. Now let's talk a little bit about that, right? This is the homicide rate in El Salvador from 2014 to 2021. 2015 is 100 people per 100,000. 2021, it's at 17.6. Now, let's talk about GDP growth. 2019, it's at 2.4%. 2020, the pandemic's at 8.4%. And 2021 is at 10.8%, the highest it has been since this thing started recording, which was 1967. So record GDP growth, clearly diminishing crimes. What's going on there? Now let's talk about the opinion ratings with Nayib Bukele's popularity. Approval rating 91%, 84%, 85%, 84%, 87%, 94%, 86%, 96%, 89%, 96%, 92%, 85%, 90%. This is a very popular guy. Now, let's compare and contrast that with the United States, shall we? This is the approval rating of Joe Biden, 38%. Disapproval rating, 57%. Let's check out the homicide rate in the United States. If this thing loads, there we go. Homicide in major American cities increased in 2021. Homicides in major American cities ticked up in 2021 with a 5% increase from 2020 and 44% increase over 2019. That's right. Murders in the United States have increased 44% since 2019. If we compare and contrast that with El Salvador, it's night and day. If we compare the GDP growth, it's night and day. If we compare the popularity, it's night and day. And here's a tweet that I tweeted out because I saw a lot of people, basically complaining about the human rights issues in El Salvador and this and that. And they were basically saying, oh, the United States doesn't have this. So I said, it's funny how they call El Salvador a dictatorship. I don't recall the government Nayib Bukele raiding the home of the previous president and arresting members of the previous administration, which is exactly what the Joe Biden administration has done. But of course, they don't say that because it doesn't fit the narrative. Now, why are they coming out with these types of articles, right? Which is the name of the video. Well, it's pretty freaking obvious if you do a little bit of digging. This was a BBC article that said IMF urges El Salvador to remove Bitcoin as legal tender. Maybe it doesn't have to do with human rights. Maybe it has to do with Bitcoin. Again, very big coincidence, just like it's a coincidence that Bruce Fenton was, said those things in a debate, and then he coincidentally was a candidate that's running for office in the United States that happens to be deplatformed. A lot of coincidences nowadays, and of course, it's not only the IMF. Here is a move by U.S. Congress itself, supported by Cassidy, Reich, Menendez. The State Department report would study the dangers of the law regarding cybersecurity, economic stability, and democratic governance in El Salvador. It's funny how they're saying democratic governance, but the president has a 90% approval rating. How does that work? As well as the potential risks to the U.S. economy. EL's adoption of Bitcoin as legal tender raises significant concerns about economic stability and financial integrity of a vulnerable U.S. trading partner in Central America. The new policy has the potential to weaken U.S. sanction policy, empowering malign actors like China and organized criminal organizations. Our bipartisan legislation seeks greater clarity on El Salvador's policy and requires the administration to mitigate risks to the U.S. financial system. Is it a coincidence? Maybe. It's incredibly obvious why the media is framing it.
Well,
the fact is
El
that
Salvador before, right? Not all. The only reason they care about El Salvador is they're doing something different. They never. Of where's El Salvador? It's somewhere down here, whatever. Who cares? They're not relevant. And now
Correct.
it's relevant because it's a small enough experiment that if it's successful, you can broadcast that elsewhere. You don't have to like what he's doing, but like you said, he's 90% approval rating. He's doing something about a problem that the people there have said is his mandate, frankly. And he ran under the premise of not stealing from the country. He's not stealing from the country. He's trying to help in whatever way that he thinks is possible. I don't like people doing what he's doing, but I'm not running the country. He is. So have fun. That's good. Make it safer. But I've been to El Salvador a bunch of times now, and I never felt unsafe.
And that's crazy because El Salvador was one of the most dangerous countries, and the fact that he has decreased the violence in that country, the United States, it's the exact opposite trend. And not only that, right? You also have the economic growth. This is a very poor country, and all of a sudden they have a record economic growth. That's very strange. Now, they always talk about the human rights aspect of it. So let me bring up the United Nations, right? The United Nations, Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Peace, dignity, equality on a healthy planet. But the United Nations, not too long ago, this was a report that we covered on the show, the United Nations spells out actions to curb cryptocurrencies in developing countries. So do they really give a fuck about human rights?
Probably not, but they're listening to the FUD about a lot of stuff. And, oh, look, they're destroying their planet with this new technology, and we got to stop that. And then they can just get narrowly focused on one thing. You feed them some steak, and they go after it. And so it's really easy to get people like that anti-Bitcoin because how can you use all these things to do this for nothing, right? They can't understand why there's proof of work and why it's important that there is a cost to it and how energy fits into that. But and that's an educational problem.
Yep, exactly. It's an educational thing, but it's incredibly obvious that these people are not coming at it from a sincere angle. These people are coming at it from Bitcoin as a threat to the powers that be, and we are conveniently using, hey, this is the weather. Hey, this is the equality. Hey, this is human.
Thrown against the wall. Whatever.
This is human rights. Bitcoin is a threat to that. Where it's clearly the exact opposite. And I'm going to tie this in with what you were saying in the beginning of the show. Right? It's what Bruce was saying. Bitcoin exposes incentives, right? And it makes governments look bad because all of a sudden now, for the first time, they have competition and money, and there's no way they could shut it down. And all they could do is they're being forced to compete, and they really don't want to compete, right? And it puts them in a very, very, very vulnerable position. Anyways, Opti, what are your thoughts on this, brother?
Well, I'm continuously being reminded of what Ben Gagnon, sorry for butchering your name, Bo, but what Ben said on our last Simply Bitcoin IRL interview when he said that the legacy media writes the headlines and then they fill in the article with their bias. And it's just becoming more and more clear that this is what's going on. They want a certain narrative and they're going to spin this however they want. And it's like Chris said, or Eric, sorry, apologies. It's like what Eric said is their bias is very obvious once you understand what is going on. And they really don't care about pushing the truth. They're just here to spin a story a certain way. And if you watch this show, like, this isn't news to you guys. Like, we've been covering this continuously, but we have to continue to cover these narratives because it's getting more and more ridiculous. And they're just going to continue to double down on this. And furthermore, it's like Eric said, Bitcoin put El Salvador on the map. Like, I'm a public school student from America, guys. I like to say I'm a high-functioning dumb. Like, I couldn't have pointed on the map where El Salvador was, but it put El Salvador on the map. And it's like Eric said, the more they talk about El Zonte and El Salvador succeeding with Bitcoin, the more it proves to the world that this little country that went on the Bitcoin standard, they did the Bitcoin experiment, and now everything is getting better. And they can't have this spread out because other countries will follow, and so they're doing whatever they can to stop the exit door. And furthermore, I was in El Zonte this year personally. I went and hung out with my buddy Weinekes. We were down in El Zonte. We were surfing. It was a great time. I had absolute blast. It was very safe down there in El Zonte. At least that's how it felt to me. But furthermore, the thing that was most impressive to me is just how much the people love Bukele. Like it blew my mind that he has, like we said, 90% approval rating. It's absolutely insane, because as in America, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's a lot of political divide, and we're nowhere near having this level of I don't know, acceptance of our presidents. And it hasn't been like this. And as long as I've known, it's been very divisive. And so it was absolutely insane to see people just backing him and seeing that he's actually trying to improve the country. And he's not out here just trying to rob the people, and just like he's doing what a president should be doing, in my opinion, doing what he can for the people of his country so that they don't continue to be destitute, continue to be ridden with criminals, and they can start to flourish. Like, this is what Bitcoin allows. And furthermore, like, why is the United States and the legacy media the global police? Like, why are they the arbiter of correct thought? Like, Westerners need to chill out, man. You guys are not the quintessential being of high class citizenry. Like, we are very much an empire in decline, and like, why are we telling other people how to live? It's absolutely insane. As a libertarian, as someone that has opted out of the system, and just like, I'm so against other people telling me what to do. It makes me sick when I see other people, pointing across the pond and being like, look, guys, this is how you guys need to act correctly. And it's just like, man, let people do what they do. Subjective value. As an Austrian economist, it's like, man, people fundamentally understand what's best for them. Let them act it out. If they get wrecked, they get wrecked, but at least they are trying to do what's best for them and their family. Like, Americans and the Westerners need to chill out, get off your high horse, stop telling other people how to live. Like, take the thorn out of your own eye before you try to take it out of your brother's. We are in a country of decline. Like, we have a lot more problems back home. We shouldn't be focused about other countries. And of course, I say it all the time, and I just have to repeat it. Their bias is very obvious. And the more you follow along, the more you understand that they don't care about spreading the truth. They got to spin a narrative a certain way so that you can stay scared and afraid and in the box. They don't want you to exit the matrix, Neo. So what are you going to do? You're going to stack sats, stay humble, provide the value, and go live your life.
Amen. Amen to that. Anyways, before we go to the culture, Eric, thank you so much for joining us on Simply Bitcoin. Where could people find you?
Twitter's probably the best, at Eric Grill. On Twitter is the best way to reach me. And I'll be popping around in Latin America a lot for the next couple of months. Mexico, Salvador, the other
Absolutely.
Doing the same things.
Absolutely. And where could people find out more about Chainbytes?
Chainbytes.com. That's bytes, bytes.com. We sell machines, but we have distributors all over in different countries that actually sell the machines and help people operate them. So that would be who we connected them to.
Hell yeah. Well, we really appreciate you joining us, Eric. Thank you for coming on Simply Bitcoin. Anyways, Opti, it's time for the culture. Daily Culture. Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. Swan incentivizes self-custody, and they also incentivize dollar cost averaging. Spread out that risk. Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, before we move on to the culture, I just want to give a shout out to Pacific Bitcoin. It's November 10th through the 11th in Los Angeles, California. Speaker list includes Corey Clipson, Jeff Booth, Dylan LeClaire, Pierre Richard, Mark Moss, Alex Gladstein, Dr. Jeff Ross, and many more.
And Nico Jones.
And Nico Jones. You definitely want to take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off your tickets to Pacific Bitcoin.
All right, guys. I know this is the daily culture, but it's going to be a little bit of the daily fail as well as the daily culture. So if you guys see the screen, you can see I have a tweet here by Vitalik. And for those listening in the space, I'm going to read this out for you guys. Vitalik tweeted this yesterday, and he got absolutely dunked on it. I'm gonna go down a little memory lane as well, so that we can bring the receipts. But Vitalik tweets: People continue to underrate how often cryptocurrency payments are superior, not even because of censorship resistance, but just because they're so much more convenient. Big boost to international business and charity, and sometimes even payments within countries. Yes, let's just see some of these memes real quick. Of course. And I got Magoo here. The narrative is changing again. So what are we talking about as Bitcoiners? If you are new to the space, you may not remember all the narrative changes that Ethereum has gone through down the years, but there has been plenty of them, and I'm just gonna pick on a few of them. And the first one that came to my mind, this was 6 years ago. Vitalik is quoted as saying, "The internet of money should not cost 5 cents per transaction." I should have here the gas fees right now, but they are a lot higher than 5 cents per transaction. So what did they do? The narrative switched again, and I found this article. It says Ethereum founders change narrative on ETH to attract investors, highlighted by Jimmy Song. And as you can see the date, this was 2019. And I just highlighted one little sentence from here, and it goes, Jimmy Song detailed how the proponents of Ethereum keep changing their narrative every couple of months, from smart contracts to proof of stake to ICOs, and now it's money again, which would eventually change in the future, said Jimmy Song. And then he added, and this is what centralized players can do, is they can put out narratives that make everyone believe them because they're centralized. Man, do not fall for the decentralized pseudo theater of Ethereum, and furthermore, the shitcoins at large. But don't take my word, take word from some of your Bitcoiners, and we're going to jump into this, and we're going to add why Bitcoin is different. Anyways, we got Giacomo Zucco. Shouts out to everyone who made fun of me about saying his name. I think I said it right. Anyways, he goes, businesses like PayPal could and would love to serve international business and charity use case way better than any cryptocurrency bullshit. The only reason they don't is government censorship. The only point of Bitcoin is censorship resistance. Shitcoins is pointless. Again, we got some more dunks and receipts, and this one's from our buddy at Psychedelic Alberto goes, next narrative from Vitalik will be, shitcoin payments are not only convenient, but knowing your layer ones are compliant with local laws and regulations will help sleep soundly. Huge support to the overall health of the Web 3.0 community. This isn't even that far-fetched. Remember what we covered about the Tornado Cash stuff? It's almost like they are leaning towards this avenue of OFAC compliant ETH nodes. Imagine running an OFAC compliant node. Could never be me. Come change the Bitcoin software. Not going to happen. Anyways, to continue down this rabbit hole, I got another tweet here from Samson Mao, and it goes, if its foundational rules not constantly changing makes Bitcoin the protocol seem boring to some, sure. But Bitcoin the network is a revolution unlike anything seen before, breaking down barriers, restoring the construct of money, and enabling the continuity of human civilization. And this is where we get into the culture aspect of this. I know you're a dev out there, you're looking at me and you're saying, man, this stupid Bitcoin maxi, Bitcoin is boring. I can't do all these gimmicks and trinkets that I can do in shitcoin land. Ethereum world computer, we're building the world computer on ETH, man. Like, it's so exciting. It moves fast. It breaks things. And I just want to echo, this is a feature, not a bug. Quit fucking with our money. The reason Bitcoin is boring is because you can't change the protocol. This is a feature. This is good. Bitcoin is boring is good. Your money should be boring. Your money should do one thing, and that is be money. Furthermore, just to continue down this rabbit hole of Bitcoin being boring, and furthermore, Ethereum being essentially Fedcoin, being essentially fiat money built on the blockchain. We have this awesome tweet here just to make my point for me. Again, it's Samson Mount. He goes, if you like Ethereum because constant change is excitement, you may like the legacy fiat system. Lots of backroom dealings, decisions of other people to read about in the news, and things to speculate on. And he's got this news article right here, and it goes, the Fed, what to know about the minutes from the latest FOMC meeting. And it's just, guys, what do I tell you every single day? Stack sats, go live your life. Understand that blocks will come in roughly every 10 minutes. You do not have to focus on the Bitcoin network if you don't want to. If you're not completely obsessed with Bitcoin like I am, just go live your life, provide the value, save in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is boring for a reason. Your money should not be at the whims of humans making protocol changes. This is a feature, not a bug, and could continue down this route. Shouts out to Son of Sats, Andres. I know he's in the spaces right now. Of course, we just keep adding the idea that Vitalik and co will have to pivot, will have to change this narrative because they are literally just a PR machine. The only way they can continue to kick this can down the road is to continue to sell a new narrative so that the Ethereum blockchain becomes more exciting. Right now we're at proof of stake. Oh, proof of stake is going to be better than proof of work. Oh my God, much innovation. But they are making one fundamental mistake. As Andres put in this tweet, changing the narrative here now. Decentralization doesn't matter anymore. Also, how long until regulations make shitcoins jump the same hoops as fiat? Ethereum is doomed. We've been saying this for a minute. I'm okay with Ethereum going down proof of stake because it won't be a theoretical argument anymore. Proof of work is far superior than proof of stake. Proof of stake is literally the recreation of the fiat system on the quote unquote blockchain. And of course, I'm going to add some Not Grubbles dunking on this. And he quote tweets this message brought to you by Infura and MetaMask. Of course, you know, they're going to continue to push the narrative of we need to change our narrative. We need to change what's going on Bitcoin or on Ethereum. Remember, ICOs, the world computer should be cheap and fast. And now they're wrecked. And now they're going to go the proof of stake because, you know, we're burning up the world. We're boiling the waters with proof of work. Proof of work is inefficient. No, prove your work. This is what these commies and high-level parasites do not want to do. They do not want to work. But hey, you, the average citizen, the average person out there has to work, spend their time, and get paid in fiat cuck bucks. This is absolutely atrocious. This is why we Bitcoin. Furthermore, I got some few more tweets and then we'll see what Nico says. And this one is by @BitcoinIsSavings, and he goes, uncertainty minimization in holding and transacting is the fundamental adoption driver of Bitcoin. This is very boring for builders who lack ideas on how to further minimize Bitcoin's uncertainty. Much easier to ideate on ways to increase uncertainty. Guys, this is the whole meaning of money. You hold money for future uncertainty. You break that idea if you fundamentally mess with the monetary properties of your money. That adds more uncertainty into the system. Bitcoin is boring. This is a feature, not a bug. Quit messing with the money, because the further you mess with the money, the more uncertainty and risk you add into the system. Keep Bitcoin boring. Make sure that protocol changes don't change, because I don't want my monetary properties to continue to change. That would scare me away. Anyways, continuing down this idea, this is our friends over at the Bitcoin conference, and it goes, if Bitcoin is boring to some, it's because sound money doesn't come with any gimmicks. This is the fundamental message, guys. Sound money, the idea that, you know, a hard money, sound money, a money that can't grow easily, a money that is hard to make more. This is a feature, not a bug. It is a very simple, boring idea. Keep it simple, guys. Stop messing with the money. 21 million hard cap, censorship resistant money. This is the way. We don't need all these other gimmicks. We don't need more uncertainty on our money, because the more complexity you add onto the network, the more risk that you are adding to the network. It's a fundamental idea, guys. But furthermore, more from Bitcoin is Saving, because I love this account. It's one of the best accounts. You could probably only follow this account and continue to get the sauce. And he just adds, earning, saving, and spending Bitcoin is very boring after the novelty wears off. Monetary activity is not supposed to surprise or excite. It's supposed to continuously work as expected. This is what we're talking about. Look, I say it all the time. There's a certain divide when you get into Bitcoin. You know, it's very exciting. You're learning a lot. You know, spend hours listening to podcasts until you understand. You know, you have that eureka moment of, oh, okay, Bitcoin is good. Blocks are going to continue to come in every 10 minutes. No one's going to be able to change the monetary policy. And once the excitement wears off, you kind of, you get a little bored. And that's when people start shitting on each other on Twitter, because they're just bored. And so I say it all the time, man. Provide the value, go outside, go live your life, Go find a hobby, do something productive, get something to get your mind off the fact that Bitcoin is, it's happening in real time, guys. Hyper Bitcoinization is happening in real time. So it's a waiting game. You need to just stack sats, provide value, wait it out until everyone around you gets on Bitcoin. This is why we show up every day, to spread the sound money gospel, because what are we doing? We're just waiting for other people to understand that Bitcoin is the solution, fiat money is the problem, and we are here to spread that as far as we can until everyone listens to it. And then just to add on to this idea, shouts out to Dylan LeClaire. He goes, Bitcoin is so boring. It only does one thing. Yeah, you seem confused. That's the entire point. Your money should purely be money, and we've never had this in the history of humanity, a money that is purely and solely money. This is a feature, not a bug. Keep Bitcoin boring. Keep my money boring. Do not add more complexity into the system. Quit changing the the monetary policies. This is a feature, not a bug. Everyone in shitcoin land that is super excited with all these changes and all this new gimmicks and all this new, shiny stuff, this is not the way. Everything that glitters is not gold. Furthermore, everything new and exciting is not Bitcoin and is not going to be the real Bitcoin. Keep Bitcoin simple. Keep Bitcoin purely money. I fundamentally believe there's only one use for a blockchain, and that is for money. Every other use of the blockchain is a scam. I will be hyperbolic. I will double down on that, full stop. Bitcoin is the only blockchain, and the only reason for a blockchain is for money. You don't need a slow, complicated database for anything else but money. It's so that people do not fuck with your money. This is the fundamental reason for Bitcoin. This is the fundamental promise of Bitcoin, is a money that is simple, that is hard, that no one can recreate, that no one can add more units of. It's simple because you do not want to have your money be debased. And the more you mess with the monetary properties, the more complexity and risk you add into the system. Keep it simple, guys. Bitcoin's only use is money. A blockchain's only use is for money. And this is why Ethereum is going to get wrecked. I hope you guys actually transfer to proof of stake, because you're going to get wrecked. And I, as a libertarian, I want you guys to, double down on your actions and let reality teach you the lesson that you are so willing to avoid. But we know the truth. We understand that proof of work is the way. Bitcoin is the way. There is Bitcoin and there is shitcoin. They can continue to try to change these narratives because they need to continue to kick the can down the road, because they know what I know. If they actually move the proof of stake, the jig is up, and they won't be able to continue to scam retail noobs. Mm-hmm. Anyways, Nico, I went a little long.
No, you did. You killed it, bro. We're still good on time.
Let's go. Shouts out to Yellow.
I have to keep my head very still, or else Yellow will fall off. Anyways, yeah. So, dude, look. That's the scam with the shitcoins, right? Is that it doesn't need to be a token. It doesn't need to be money. And that's the fundamental issue, right? Is that a lot of these shitcoins, like for example, there's that very, very famous like meme video that came out in 2017 about the lemonade coin. It's like, bro, you don't need a lemonade coin to buy lemonade. You could just use Bitcoin, but of course they can't tell you that because they need to sell their shitcoin, right? And I think that's the fundamental problem. I think Dylan LeClaire hit the nail on the head, right? Doesn't need to be money. Bitcoin's simple. It's simple by design. Its simplicity is what makes it awesome. Ethereum's complexity is what made those hardware requirements so freaking high, which cause the inevitable centralization of the nodes. We've gone over the receipts with you guys. The majority of Ethereum nodes are run on AWS servers. So now when you see Ethereum, it's run by Amazon, controlled by the US government. Anyways, Opti, could you take Yellow off my head, please?
How do I do that? I don't know how to do this.
I don't know what to do. I have no idea. Anyways, let's go to the memes and see if he just leaves.
Let's go.
God damn it, Yellow. Daily Meme Review. Brought to you by Citadel 21. It's the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics, by actual Bitcoiners. This is the artwork for volume 11. This is the artwork for volume 10. And this is the artwork for volume 2. Volume 2 is almost sold out because there's only 1,000 physical copies made per volume. So get your prints of Citadel 21 today before they run out.
Well, guys, I know this is your favorite part of the show because, as Nico says, he's gone. Yellow's gone. Yellow, a meme within the meme, incepting of memes. Anyways, guys, as Nico says all the time, I'm going to butcher it. Obviously, you guys know I can't speak. So memes, what is it? Memes are artillery in the war of... Nico, do it again. Maybe I'll remember
if tweets are war in this narrative trench warfare, memes are artillery. It was close enough, Opti. It was close enough. Close enough.
Yellow made fun of me yesterday about my close enough.
It was great. That post was amazing. You should have you should have put that on the meme review, bro.
I know, I should have. I'll add it tomorrow so you guys can laugh with me. But of course, guys, put your meme review score in the chat a little earlier than the last one because we don't want to have that little delay and we can read your meme scores on the show. So, first meme here is by @Rothmus, and of course, we're going to dunk on central bankers. So what is this meme saying? It's a job interview, and the boss or the guy interviewing goes, does printing money cause inflation? And the interviewee goes, what's inflation? And the boss goes, you're hired. And as you can see on the bottom, he's hired to the European Central Bank because they don't even know what inflation is, or at least they don't know what inflation is. Anyways, this next one's by Don't Sell, our boy Selly Not, or Don Selly. Nico, there is no sexual graffiti in this one. This is very PG. Anyways, this guy in his underwear and this girl, they're doing some kinky stuff with handcuffs. And he goes, hey, babe, just looking at my Coinbase account while opening the fridge. And then he gets handcuffs and, she does her thing. And she puts in some earbuds in and plays the Bitcoin standard. And he just gets wrecked because she knows what he don't know. Coinbase is a shitcoin casino. Delete Coinbase. Do not dabble in shitcoinery, guys. Not even once. Don't do it. Anyways, this next one by my boy Rope. Shouts out to Rope out there. He is literally getting his memes stolen far and wide, and everyone's reposting his stuff, which means he is killing it on the memes. And just on the last theme of, horny Bitcoiners, because I know you guys don't have girlfriends. He goes, Ropium goes, it turns you on, and there's a girl, super horny, and then a Bitcoiner with laser eyes explaining the importance of separating money and the state. Why I love the energy of this this meme, Ropium. That usually doesn't happen, but I love where the sentiment is at. And then we got Wayfaring BTCer. I really believe that this one meme came out of the Simply Bitcoin Telegram group by Belong. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. This is a great meme that needs to be shown. And it's Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty. And it's a, Ethereum logo on the wall. And he rips off the wallpaper. And it's the World Economic Forum behind it. Yes, we have brought the receipts. This is uncontentious. You already know this if you watch the show. But if you don't, go back and watch some old episodes. We have proven time and time again that Ethereum is the front for the World Economic Forum. Shouts out to Aya Miyaguchi, or not really shouts out to her. Google her on the World Economic Forum and you can connect the dots yourself. Anyway, since I brought Ethereum into the show today, we're just going to continue to dunk on Ethereum today because it makes y'all feel real good about yourself and myself. Anyways, shouts out to Dirt Gigi. He goes, proof of stake equals shit. And we got Ethereum with an Ethereum gun, pointing a gun at Ethereum, who is pointing a gun at their own head. This is what proof of stake is. Y'all are shooting yourself in the head, but hey, I endorse this. I want you guys to double down on proof of stake. It'll be it's gonna be beautiful fireworks when all this goes down. And unfortunately, people will get wrecked. So please, 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 dump your shitcoins now. Go Bitcoin only. Find Bitcoin Zen. Your life will become so much better. This is the way, guys. Secondly, I got this post right here is by Stefan Livera, and it was in consideration of the news that we heard yesterday about Joe Biden, doing student loan forgiveness. And the tweet goes by Stefan Livera, consider the precedent being set with student loan forgiveness. Everyone else will also want their share of free stuff. It's a bad trend here, and the world must reestablish market discipline with free market money, aka Bitcoin. But the meme is by Alan B. Watts, and it's quoting Benjamin Franklin. And I tell you guys all the time, sometimes memes are in words, and the words are very powerful. And Alan B. Watts quotes Benjamin Franklin, goes, "When the people find that they can vote themselves money, that will herald the end of the republic." Give him the horns for that one. And then shout out to @21JCLP. I know people have been giving me shit. They want to fight the truth. They want to fight the light. But hey, I am in charge of the meme reviews. So shouts out to 21GCLP. And he goes, "Bitcoin is a spiritual revolution. Bitcoiners' heart." And I really love this tweet. You know, transcending life and all the shit in the world by pure, unadulterated truth, by pure signal, pure light energy that is Bitcoin, pure positivity out there. And it's, you know, a light being. I guess that's the best way we can explain this. A light being with his heart being transcended with Bitcoin. I fundamentally believe this, guys, because I've seen this in myself. Say what you want about this. Again, I'm not trying to push my spiritual beliefs on you, but I fundamentally believe that Bitcoin has a way of exposing you to you and opting you out of the rat race so that you can go live and be the best version of yourself. And this is what I believe this meme is saying. Find Bitcoin Zen, opt out of the rat race, and level yourself up and be the best version of yourself. And this is what Bitcoin promises. It's done it for me. It could do it for all you guys. Just trust the process, stay humble, stack sats, provide the value to your fellow man, and you will be rewarded. It won't happen overnight. This is why I say all the time that proof of work is a lot more than just about Bitcoin mining. It's a way of life. Put in the work and life will reward you. Anyways, for my meme review score, Nico, I think you're gonna have a good laugh at this one. I got a bottle of Tajín. Oof. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Please, guys, it is the meme review. Please put your score down in the comment section. We'll read it out live. I'm going to give those memes yellow. Joined us once again for the show. He is extremely rude. If you guys haven't seen the skit, definitely recommend it. He snuck into my house the other day while I was sleeping. It was kind of fucked up. And it scared the living shit out of me. Anyways, Becca says, "I give those memes my basil houseplant." Lucky Redfish, "I give them Opti's facial growth." Okay, Andres. "I give these memes an arroz con leche cup." Okay, really nice. Really nice. One busted Tupac USB sticker miner. Very nice. Very nice. And I give every now people are spelling like yellow. I give those memes a Benjamin Bill because Bitcoin is 100% what our wise ancestors were hoping for. Okay, good. And here I give those memes one pupusa. Arepas are better than pupusas. You heard it here. I give these memes one Opti fundamental.
Hashtag Opti can't speak.
Oh man. Anyways, there's a software release today. Let's check it out. Bitcoin software release. Brought to you by CipherSafe. Don't be that person that stores their Bitcoin seed on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage, dog attacks, everything. Your seed can be eaten by dogs or cats or animals if you store it on paper. You definitely want to store your seed on steel, and there's no better place to do it than the CipherSafe. Get yourself a Cipher wheel or a Cipher grid today. Visit ciphersafe.io.
Before I do the software release, shouts out to Lucky Redfish. I am not a hippie. Hippies stink. But I fundamentally believe in spreading the positivity, and Bitcoin's changed me. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Today's software release is by Blockstream. They released Core Lightning version 0.12.0, codename Web 8 in it. And there's a bunch of features here, guys. This looks really, really awesome. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff here, man. And so if you're running C Lightning, I would recommend that you update this because it's looking like a real badass update. C Lightning be killing it out there. I know you guys all run LND, but Sea Lightning, there's some tricks up their sleeves over there, guys. Anyways, listen to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or on Anchor. And if you think we're providing you value day in and day out, you can stream us sats on Fountain app. We will take your sats. I was going to say something else, but I'm not going to say that, Nico. Anyways, guys, we really appreciate it. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the space. Nico, let's roll this one out.
Yeah, before we do that, I want to give a special shout out to our clothing sponsor, RepresentLTD.com. Opti and I wear the hoodies every single day. It's stylish, it's comfy, and you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 10% off, RepresentLTD.com. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on another episode of Simply Bitcoin. We really appreciate it. If you leave a like, and if you really find value from this show, from the podcast, definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin. And of course, we will see you tomorrow for a brand new episode.
Which one's the best crypto asset? Well, Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Okay. What's the second best? There is no second best.